What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian, and you're back with the boxing tip. Now, first off, I just want to say sorry for not uploading in the past 2 days. Been a little busy with some stuff, but I'm back and I'm ready to get caught up. As you can tell by the title, you know what this video is going to be about. I know you guys have probably already heard the news. I'm a little late on this one, but I figured everybody has a different opinion, so I'll give my take. It's not so much about the news, it's more of my reaction to the news, which is a good reaction because it's a good announcement. But let's go ahead and get into that. First thing I want to say is, as you guys already know, the WBC has been doing their convention recently, and apparently during this convention they announced that the WBC orders Timothy Bradley versus Errol Spence Jr. in a title eliminator match. Winner goes against Amir Khan for another title eliminator match, ultimately putting them in position to be the mandatory of Danny Garcia. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably like, what? Isn't he already the mandatory for Kell Brook's IBF belt? Well, that's true too. Understand that fighters can campaign in more than one sanctioning body. The question here is, who would you rather see Errol Spence Jr. fight? You know, because this puts him in a pretty good position in his career to have an opportunity to fight big names for mandatory spots or get a title shot against another big name like Kell Brook. Now, we know that after Errol Spence Jr. knocked out Leonard Bundu, it made him Kell Brook's mandatory. I hear that they are in negotiations, but the good thing is for whatever reason, especially for the Errol Spence Jr. fans, for whatever reason that fight doesn't get made, he has another sanctioned bout that can possibly be made between him and Timothy Bradley. Now, they do fight on two different networks as I understand it, but it does look like that bridge might be closing little by little. We did see John Molina Jr. versus Terrence Crawford this past Saturday. John Molina Jr. in his last few fights has been fighting on Showtime, and we know that Terrence Crawford fights almost exclusively on HBO. So there is hope, you know, that whatever network you fight on or whoever the promoters are, there is hope that that conflict will be resolved and we won't get any more complications between the two parties when one guy is holding on to a gem and the other guy is holding on to a gem and they can't fight because these promoters refuse to work with each other. But hey, it's the name of the game, I guess. Business is business, but you know, the fans don't need to be deprived over whatever reason you refuse to work with another guy. That's just my opinion. But whatever the reasoning for that is, I don't understand that. So, you know, I'm not a boxing businessman, so of course I'm not going to understand it. The only thing that I do understand is that I like boxing and I like seeing good fights get made. Anyways, the reason why this news excites me so much as a boxing fan is because I am a fan of every boxer in the welterweight division, damn near. I like all fighters, you know. You've never really heard me badmouth a fighter too much. Maybe I might have said they would lose. Maybe they've proved me wrong. But the reason why it excites me so much is because I like that Errol Spence Jr. is kind of in the middle of all this, you know what I'm saying? And I like Errol Spence Jr. I'm a big fan of his boxing. And in my opinion, even though he hasn't exactly had the biggest accomplishments in boxing, he passes the eye test for me. I think he's a great boxer. Tim Bradley, elite level fighter. Kell Brook, I would say he's up there, you know what I mean? I like that Errol Spence Jr. is in the middle of all this because whatever he decides to do, the outcome is a good thing. Unless he just completely says fuck both of these dudes and goes fight some other jack that we probably never heard of. You know, that wouldn't be too pleasing. Or if the other two guys don't want to fight, that isn't pleasing at all, or they decide to go fight someone else. If they decide to go fight someone else, I just pray it's another top welterweight and they didn't just not fight Errol Spence Jr. to go fight some fucking dude we've never heard of. Maybe he's a good fighter. If he passes the eye test for me, then hey, I'll be alright with it. There hasn't been too much, at least lately. There hasn't, well, I guess not, because we had Thurman Porter, and then we got Thurman versus Garcia. The common denominator there is Thurman. But we haven't been getting a lot of top 10 welterweights fighting top 10 welterweights. I know that Errol Spence and Konstantin Panamarev were going to fight, which are, in my opinion, 2 top 10 welterweights. That would have been a hell of a fight. That's all I want to see is top competition versus top competition. And I know Bradley, he's a warrior, man. I've never heard of any stories of him ducking other fighters or avoiding other fighters. When he gets in the ring, he does whatever it takes, almost getting his head knocked off by Ruslan Provodnikov. He has a W against Manny Pacquiao. I didn't think he won the fight personally, but it's a W. But Timothy Bradley is proven. Errol Spence Jr. isn't as proven as Timothy Bradley, so that would be Errol Spence Jr. ultimate test. I would much rather see the Kell Brook fight, honestly, because, Kell Brook lost to Triple G. He lost, but he lost at middleweight. I still consider him if not number one right now, definitely one of the top 5 middleweights. And I feel like because both guys are still kind of on the come up, I would like to see those two fight more, because we know Timothy Bradley was a pound for pound quality fighter. We know that he is a top welterweight as well, and he's proven that to us. The other two guys, they haven't proved pound for pound status. They've proved that they're top 10 welterweights, no doubt, and that's why I would much rather see them two fight. Both are great boxers. Matter of fact, all 3 of them are good boxers. It's just who would you rather see type of thing. And in my opinion, I would much rather see Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. And then, if that fight goes down, I'd like to see Errol Spence or Kell Brook versus Tim Bradley, or Tim Bradley versus Garcia, or Thurman versus Kell Brook, or Errol Spence Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao. Whoever, you know what I'm saying? Whoever's in the welterweight division that's in the top 10, those are the guys that I want to see fighting against each other. And that's a little cliche. I know that everyone, probably says that, but we don't get it nearly enough as we should, especially when there's so many good fighters at welterweight. And that's just my opinion. Everybody who's in the top, in my opinion, deserves to be there because they're great boxers. Sean Porter, he's another one of those guys. I know he lost to Thurman, and I know he lost to Kell Brook, but no one's ever dominantly beat him. You know what I'm saying? No one's ever beat him so convincingly that he doesn't deserve to be mentioned as a top 10 welterweight. So he's a big player in my book still. But nevertheless, we still do got Thurman Garcia coming up next year. I do believe that we need some follow-up, so hopefully between Kell Brook and Timothy Bradley, Errol Spence Jr. gets to fight one of those guys. If not Errol Spence Jr., I hope the other two decide to fight another top 147-pounder. And I don't want to see Tim Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao again. Me personally, I like when they fight, but 3 fights is enough in my book. Also, I hope Terrence Crawford jumps up to 147. That'll make things a little interesting. Some people feel he'll do really good. Some people feel like it's a bad move. It all depends on what you think. So I think after Thurman Garcia, we need a follow-up. We need the welterweight division to follow up with another good fight. So, like I said, as long as it's a competitive fight, I do not care who fights. I do want to see Errol Spence Jr. in with 2 top-notch guys. I think the kid is special, and I think he needs a chance to prove that and leave no doubt in anyone's mind. And the other one, since Kell Brook beat Porter, he hasn't really fought another super good welterweight since then. He fought Triple G, but I don't want to see a guy jump up 2 divisions. I want to see a guy who's already in a division that he has a world title in, defend that title or unify with another world titleist or at least another top 10 welterweight. That's what I want to see as a boxing fan. Fuck, even take the belts out of the equation. I just want to see him up against a dude who is going to be competitive. And, for entertainment purposes, I'd rather be that competitive guy someone with a big name. You know what I mean? But I think I made my point. I just want to see good fights in the welterweight division. You know, that's like smack dab in the middle of boxing with one of the most stacked rankings out there. Not to mention some of the guys in welterweight that are coming up. So, yeah, let's see some good fights. But go ahead and comment your thoughts. Let me know what fight in the welterweight division you want to see. Let me know if you want to see Errol Spence versus Tim Bradley or Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. Let me know who you want to see Tim Bradley or Kell Brook fight. You know, there's a lot of good fights to be made in the welterweight division. Also, subscribe to the channel, guys. Like, I apologize for not uploading for like 2 days. I'm just trying to get some things in order, get myself on a schedule to get these days pumped out, or get these videos pumped out more frequently. I got about 5 videos that are breakdown and prediction videos that I gotta release before this month ends, and all the post-fight reviews, and I'm trying to keep up with the boxing news. I just don't get informed in time enough to make videos in the middle of doing all the other shit, so just trying to figure it out, get it organized for you guys, man. Also, like the video, share it with your buddies if they like boxing, and thank you for watching in advance. Like I always say, this is your host Sebastian with the Boxing Tip. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Peace out.